Hello and welcome back to the Mushroom Kingdom Media Podcast. It's your host Dylan, and we got a lot of content from a quick hiatus. All right, it's been a little bit. You just forget to do it a couple weeks, but it's all right. We're back in it, back into the swing of things. See, we've been doing good. A few extra additions to our setup here. We got a new mic boom, a little easier for me. Not that you guys can see it yet. I might do a webcam sooner or later, but who knows. Anywho, enough about me. Let's start with the biggest thing that I wanted to kind of address over the past couple of weeks it's been happening. Especially during the last couple of weeks. I've seen a lot of Nintendo Switch 2 leaks. And I get it. And I get it for sure. People want a new console, it's been a while. It's been a slow year for Nintendo, so I mean, people want stuff. That's just kind of what we've built the society around, now let's get our stuff. We want it. We can't wait. It's kind of like Christmas we just had. Kids waking up at 6 a.m. bugging their parents to go open their gifts, and that's just kind of how it's been. And especially to amplify that with the slow year at Nintendo, people get restless, and I understand where they're coming from, of course. But at the same time, see me. Let's backtrack. Me, personally, it'd be cool if we got an announcement for Switch 2, but, I mean, really, I got a lot of games that I gotta play yet, and I've been waiting to play. I think last time I left off, I was talking about Brothership. I since then finished the game. I gotta get back into playing Echoes. I played that for about 3-4 hours I think the day it released. And then maybe a little bit for the day after. And then I haven't touched it since. That came out in September. So, so there's definitely a lot that I need to get on to. So, as much as I want a new console, as much as I'm done with the Switch, albeit having it for only about 2 years, but in the sense of everything, as much as I would like a new console, it's not the biggest deal to me. I mean, don't you people have backlogs? Like, a lot of people I talk to that have been waiting for this new console. It's like, and they start talking to me about other games that they're playing, and all these games they're playing. I'm like, well, how are you wanting this new console when you still have 20 games on your list that you are halfway in the middle of? To me, that never made sense. I mean, I usually, at most, I have like 5 games that I have in progress, but they're all from like different genres. Like, I only play an RPG like one at a time. It's like Brothership. I only played Brothership. I didn't play any other RPG. Like a Dungeon Zelda game, I'm only playing Echoes right now. I finished Ocarina when I was playing it, and I didn't get enough of a start on Majora to say that that's what I'm playing right now. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I tried it out, but it wasn't like I'm so far into it that this is what I'm playing. So, I switched it up. But, and of course, me, I play other games. I play, like, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe all the time. On my Xbox, I'll be playing Rainbow Six Siege or Rocket League or Apex Legends or MLB The Show. I play a lot of games, but, like, that genre is, like, its own, like, kind of just games you just play to play, not like a story. So, I don't know. In a short sense, I don't need to Switch 2 right now. Again, I know it's coming, and I, do want it deep down inside, but I'm also fine if it doesn't come out, we don't get any details until March. If we don't get any details until June. Preferably by the end of the summer, I'd like to see something, but I also remember reports, and I think it was a tweet as well from Nintendo Japan, if I'm not mistaken, that we were going to get something. I don't know if it was an announcement or I don't know if it was just like a general kind of synopsis of the new console within the fiscal year, and that was announced, was it March 31st? It was March something for sure. So, we'll for sure get something by then, because that's what Nintendo said. But, anywho, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I think, unless you're done with all your backlog, but I've never, like I said, I haven't talked to a single person that has zero backlog. One of my best friends right now, he has so many games on his list. It's crazy. He'll be playing backlog from now in like 2055. We were laughing about that today. Like that's kind of how crazy this is. So I don't know. I mean, it really kind of roll into it. I don't trust any of the leaks. I don't trust anything I see about Switch 2. I completely disregard. I don't care one single bit, because I'm just assuming it's not true. Nintendo has been very secretive about, let's look at Echoes of Wisdom for sure, because again, I was talking to my friend and he was kind of iffy on this game for a while because he doesn't really like the art style. He wasn't a big fan of Link's Awakening. So it was hard to get him kind of hooked on the game, because I thought it was cool and I wanted him to think it was cool too, typical friend stuff. But Nintendo didn't really say a lot about that game for a while, and it was quite odd because usually you get a lot of stuff about a game when it gets announced, but I remember like IGN reporters and all these reporters and stuff, like they didn't really know a whole lot, and we didn't know a whole lot for a while, and it was announced in June, and we didn't see it until September. So within that time period of July, August, 3-4 months ish, we didn't know a whole lot, and right when we rolled into I think it was about a month's time until it released, we got to know who the developer was, and we got to know what the game's really about, and we, kind of like the map size. And I know Nintendo's recently been doing a bunch of Ask the Developer things, and they've been releasing that around the time the game released, a little bit before, a little bit after. And I heard this on an IGN podcast, but I don't really know why this is. I don't know, because the internet's a very hateful place. You could really... I've seen a lot of bad games get punished on the internet, and it's just like, well, Nintendo helped... It's a third-party game. Nintendo helped develop it, this, that, the other thing, and it just gets absolutely clowned on social media, and it's just like, well, why? You're obviously going to try on a game. You're not just making a bad game because you feel like making a bad game, of course. Like, that's just not how it works, right? You get paid to make the game good. So when people don't like the game and it gets openly criticized, hey, let's not buy this game, and then you get a reputation for having this bad game and messing up the series, quote unquote. So then when you make a new game and it's the same developer, and everybody, we're not buying this game because these guys made it, and they made a bad game. They ruined my favorite game, so this game's not going to be good at all. Like that, that's so dumb. And I don't know if that's what Nintendo's trying to kind of help out with their third parties, kind of, I don't know, alleviate that issue. It hasn't been a whole much that I've seen lately. Kind of with a lot of stuff that's come out, but a lot of the stuff come out has been, kind of grade A stuff, not really AAA, but yeah. Kind of in short, a little rambly, but in short, I don't trust the leaks. If you're going to take anything from me, don't trust the leaks you see. Don't trust any of the updates you see. Kind of stay away from all that, because with how secretive Nintendo's been, I'm sure nothing is set in stone until they announce it. So, And again, it helps to have that mindset that I have other things to play. I have other things to do. Let me play those. Let me finish my backlog. Let me 100% some games. Let me find a different game to play. Keep yourself occupied while this stuff is coming out and while this stuff is getting worked on. And don't go on Twitter prancing around searching and digging. Because, I mean, no one knows for sure. It may be all right. That's the thing. Every single leak could be correct. Every single leak could be correct. But I'm just not buying it, you know? So, you do what you want with that information. I'm just here to relay my thoughts. Anywho. Next, I did want to talk about Brothership. This will probably be the last thing I talk about. Or, I guess, other thing. But, anywho, I did finish Brothership. It's the last time I talked on here. Yeah. Oh my gosh. First off, let's say, before I played it, I saw that IGN, rated it a 5. A 5 out of 10. And they usually rate their games decently high with they usually tend towards the 7s, 8s-ishes. So, seeing a 5 was, what's the word? Scary, for a lack of a better term. I mean, Mario Luigi is one of my favorite franchises. Bowser's Inside Story was so cool. That was my favorite game. I've talked about this before. Favorite game. One of my favorite games of all time. Definitely top 10 for me. So I was excited for this game for sure. When I saw the direct, me and one of my friends, we were watching it, and it was we were so hyped because it looked so good. The art style was intriguing. Yeah. And it was being developed by Nintendo. It's a first party, Nintendo finally grabbing the reins of Mario and Luigi. We thought there wasn't anything that could go wrong. Really, we thought this was going to be perfect. Months go by, and we get the game. We both went the same day on the day of release and had it pre-ordered at GameStop. We both went the same day. Long story short, I think that 5 might be right. I mean, the guy who reviewed it, name's Logan Plant. He's one of the guys that is on the podcast that I listen to personally. I think it's Nintendo Voice Chat is what it's called. I have a lot of respect for the guy. He's a great writer. It's just, at first I was kind of questioning him, right? 5, that's crazy. And to be fair, the gameplay he put on there was kind of bad. So it was I don't know. People were kind of clowning him for putting that on there, but then everyone started to play the game, and it's there's been very mixed reviews, honestly. It was quite weird. There's a lot of people that said, this is one of my favorite games of all time, and there's the other half of people who are this game stinks. This game stinks. And me, I'm one of the weirdos who has, a mixed opinion. The battles were great. Minus the final boss. The final boss was a huge letdown. Otherwise, every other battle was this was cool. You got the Luigi logic factor, and also don't listen to this. Don't skip this part if you don't want spoilers. It's probably you probably figured that out now. But anywho, the Luigi logic factor was cool in battle. The Bros moves were super cool. You had some that came back and some that were new, and they were all pretty different and different mechanically on how you had to execute them and all this, but that might have been the only shining spot. I mean, the Bros moves in the field, those are you had the UFO thing that you could fly around with, and the ball. The ball was cool for movement because otherwise you would be walking everywhere. It was so slow. The fire and ice, which was obviously my favorite, which was super cool and didn't didn't utilize it how I thought it would, but it still was a cool concept and still was delivered fairly well, I think, in the realm it was given. And that other fourth one, I think, was just jumping. That's what it was. I mean, it's just the writing was so bad. Here's the thing: this series has thrived off of that conjunction, that the way that the game was developed is around the writing, around the storytelling, rather, because the first three games that they released were Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, and Bowser's Inside Story, respectively, on the Game Boy Advance, the Nintendo DS, and the Nintendo DS. And I've said this before, and I've talked about this before, I forget which episode, but I said this before, one of the golden eras of gaming, in my opinion, that's kind of been slept on, is the GBA and DS. Because those consoles were super underpowered. So in order to compensate for lackluster gameplay, what did you have to do? You had to do good writing. You had to do good stories. You had to do good plots. And that's what they did. And that's why those games are looked upon so fondly. Especially for me. And I replayed Bowser's Inside Story lately. And the writing is just so immaculate. It's funny. It's like... And plus, kind of the way, like, the puns on some stuff, it's like, it's good. It's funny. They sprinkle them in there, and it's actually funny to read it. Like, you laugh a little bit. Yeah, and you have Luigi being a goofball, and Mario's all serious, It's funny. That's kind of what, instead of being like a kind of die-hard RPG, you gotta, get all the stats right, and this, that, the other thing, it's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be like a story, almost. Inside story. I pulled that out of my butt, but it's supposed to be like a storybook, like you're reading it, and you just get to play along. That's kind of how I've looked at it. And I've touched Superstar Saga, and it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of like a story, almost. So, playing Brothership, like, the writing was just so bad. It's like everything was a pun. Like how I said before, they sprinkled them. Everything was a pun. It was just so stupid. It was like just laughably stupid every time I would play. It's like it all had to do with electricity, connector and the extension corpse and Zocket and Snoutlet and like, oh my god, like everything had to be a pun. It was just over the top and annoying. And Snoutlet and his stupid, I'm not a pig. Like, come on. He said that about like 200 times if I had to guess. And I really wish I was exaggerating, but I might be a little bit, but that's pretty close. It's probably more like 100 or 70 or something, but he said it. So every single interaction. Oh, and your pig friend. I'm not a pig. Like, stop! Every single time you speak, it's something to do with a pig. Like, we get it. We get it. Like, who did you pay to write this? Because they got paid too much. Like, really? Like, oh my gosh. It's a little infuriating because it was that bad. And then all you have is some decent gameplay. Decent? Like, I can't even really say it was great. Like, you put Luigi on the A button. That is the easiest thing you could have fixed, and you messed that up. That has been a staple in this series for the entire time. Luigi moved with B in battle, and now you gotta move him with A. I'm sure everyone who has played a Mario and Luigi game before had that complaint, because you had to change the muscle memory. Like, I sat there for like 2 minutes. I'm like, why is the B not working? But in the first battle with Luigi. And I clicked A. I was like, you are kidding me. Because you got to click A, but then once you jump, you got to click B to actually do the jump. Like, it was so stupid. Like, and that's the easiest fix in the world. I don't know how you overlooked that. And don't tell me, oh, we wanted to change it up, because no, that's something you don't change. it's just everything was mildly infuriating, really. And I don't know. It it was so bad. But it was good. It was bad, but it was good. It was a good bad. So I give it like a 6, really. 5, 6, something like that. The writing is just so atrocious, and everything was so go and fetch, hand-holdy. It's like nothing was really a challenge. The boss fight, it's like the whole gimmick was if you used a bro's move, he analyzed the bro's move, and then if you did it again, then he figured it out and it would probably deal no damage, but obviously have enough of a brain to realize that that's what he's going to do and not use the same bro's move out of the 10 that I have. Like, it's just, oh my gosh. And there's no end game. I'm a big end game guy. Like, really, no end, like, that is, you're telling me in the big 2024, we are not adding end games to RPGs. Like, come on. Plus, now, I can't go back and do any of the side quests that I was supposed to do because I didn't save it then. And now what? I'm supposed to be stuck when it's all gloomy and poopy outside? No, I want to play it when it's normal and it doesn't have the stupid music. Like, I want to hear every island's music, not the stupid, final boss music or final land change, whatever you want to call it, music. I want to listen to the normal music, and now I can't because I didn't save it right. Like, there's a lot of things that they went wrong, but there's a lot of things they can improve upon, but there's also some bright spots, like the gameplay, like the map exploration. The art style was iffy. I would like to see a different art style, but, I mean, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. So there's bright spots and there's low spots, but I think the brights are very dull and the lows are very dark, unfortunately. I think that's really what it boils down to. So, will I play it again? No, I would not play it again. I would only recommend this game to people who have played Mario and Luigi games to play it just to play it. Purely just because you feel like you need to. And then after knowing what I know, that's exactly what I'd do. I would play it just for the sake that I need to finish this because it's part of the series and get it over with and be done. Because it's also 35, 36 hours long. Like, it is a drag. Like, they start, I was almost towards the end. I was like, what was I? I was like 22 hours in or something like that. I forget. And I was like, all right, this seems close. I'm like, there's no way they can shove another 10 hours worth of content in this game, right? And guess what they did? They shoved another 10 hours of content. I was like, how? You just kept going and going and going and going and going, and this island would fall apart, and this, and oh, you gotta go back to this one because this guy crapped his pants, so you gotta wipe him before you go to the next one where he pissed himself, and then you gotta go wipe the other guy again because you forgot to pull his pants up. Like, it was so, like, it's so dumb. Like, I can't with this game. It's so disappointing at the end of the day. Anywho, play the game if you need to. Otherwise, don't play the game. Play anything else. Play any other RPG. Play Fire Emblem on the GBA for all I care. Do not play this unless you feel the need to. Thank you. Have a great day. All right. After my couple rants, I mean, it's been a couple weeks. Got to get some stuff. Regarding the podcast, gonna keep this on YouTube for now. Might throw it on Spotify and stuff down the line. Might get a webcam down the line. But for now, this is what we're getting. And I'm fine with that, and you'll be fine with it too, because I said so. All right, cool. This is Dylan from the Mushroom Kingdom Media Podcast. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this. Yeah, thank you.